Got some preseason and training camp updates. And then we're going to be talking about Xavien Howard. Let's jump into this. What is up, Fin fans? Yes, we are going to be talking about some news that came out Friday and over the weekend during the 4th of July. I took the time to spend it with my family, and I'm assuming you guys did too. I hope you guys had a very safe and very fun, and however you celebrated your 4th of July. Hope you guys, enjoyed it. But we're going to jump into this. We're going to talk about two things that came out. One of them broke Friday night, and the other came out, I think it was during the 4th of July or 4th of July, like literally on Saturday. And then we're going to get to one of you guys' comments of the day that involves Xavien Howard. So, we get a little bit of NFL talk, and then we're going to get a little Miami Dolphins talk. We need some type of football talk, some type of sports talk, because I'm losing my mind. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is what happened Friday at 8:17 p.m. It was reported from Adam Schefter. Essentially, the NFLPA, if you guys remember, the NFL wanted to cancel the first and fourth preseason game. And I said it would be a little bit difficult because the Miami Dolphins, their second and third, I think there were 2 away games and there were 2 home games, and some teams had conflicting schedules. So it was up to the NFLPA to vote for it. The players want to cancel the first and the fourth preseason game and are okay with playing 2. How do they feel about it? Well, like I said, 8:17, Adam Schefter reported the NFLPA voted. Some of their player reps voted, and they actually voted to not have a preseason at all. They voted to skip the preseason altogether. This I didn't expect. Especially because I expect some of the players to want to have a chance to compete to be on the roster. Now, again, with what's going on in the world, it's hard to predict what's going to happen when it comes to football, when it comes to the season. I've already watched soccer. Soccer has already been being played, and the way they've done it was interesting to me. They kind of like added in crowd noise. But with soccer, it's a little bit easier. And then they had the players sitting in the stands. But again, for soccer, it's easier. You can get right on the field from the stands. But I thought it was interesting. And soccer is going on. Golf is going on. Certain sports are going on. Baseball, they already started training. I've watched some of the Mets players, during batting practice. It's going to be interesting to see how these sports go. So it does give me a feeling that football will be played, but it has to be hashed out and has to be worked out. So again, with the NFLPA voting to completely wipe preseason away, again, it's not happening. They voted towards it. Then the owners, and I'll have to talk about it, do their thing like a chicken wing. I was surprised by that because there are players that really depend on that fourth preseason game, really depend on the preseason games to make the roster. Now, I know that the NFL is going to give teams a little bit more of a leeway with how many players they can carry because we don't know the extent of what might happen. But they voted for no preseason game at all, which we'll see what the owners have to say. But I'm pretty sure they want some type of income, some type of revenue. So they're going to hope and pray to get a preseason game. We'll see. Again, if more news breaks on that, I will update you guys. I'll keep you guys up to date on that stuff. And then there's also something else that broke. I think this was Saturday. Essentially, originally it was reported that, it's going to be hard to see what's going to happen with training camp. It's going to be hard to see how reporters are going to go there. Us as fans, we're not going to be allowed to go to training camp, which starts July 28th. So what's going to happen? At first, the thoughts were 1 reporter, and that's it. Then it came out 4 reporters, and now they're saying that it's 8 reporters. 8 reporters from a certain group will be allowed to go to training camp, observe, and do all that stuff. But here's the problem, and here's the thing that sucks for me and different Miami Dolphin, different NFL content creators on YouTube, and all that stuff. A lot of us depend on reports coming out of training camp, and like I said, I've been doing this. This will be my 3rd year. I do it annually where training camp comes, mini camps, OTAs, whatever. If they're reporting, Devontae Parker just beat Xavien Howard, or Devontae Parker just, Byron Jones just picked off, Ryan Fitzpatrick or whatever, I write it down and I report it to you for some of you guys that aren't able to go there or aren't able to follow these beat writers and get the play-by-play from training camp. Well, unfortunately, 8 reporters are allowed to go, but they're not allowed to live report or tweet what's happening at camp. So for the first time in 3 years, I will not be able to give you guys live updates. Now, that doesn't mean they can't, like I said, they can't live report or live tweet it. But that doesn't mean that they can't jot down things that they've noticed. Then I read what they've noticed and then come back to you and report it. I'm going to try my best to figure out a way to still have it, because I know a lot of you guys, and in my last video, you guys commented, really enjoy it. And it's something to help us get through this. Help us get through this really time of no football, no camp, no sports really. You want to hear that. You want to hear, Christian Wilkins, broke through Ted Karras and got a potential sack. Austin Jackson manhandling Agba. You want to hear these things, And again, training camp, there's not always going to be contact. There's not always going to be pads. But when there is, you want to hear it. You want to hear how Kyle Van Noy tackled, Breda for a loss. You want to hear how Breda broke, Raekwon McMillan's ankles and would have had a 40-yard touchdown. You want to hear these things. And I want to report these things to you guys. So hopefully, being that they're not allowed to tweet or live report from training camp, they will still be able to write on Miami Herald, Sun Sentinel, whatever you follow, and we can still get these reports, and I can still report them to you in my daily training camp videos. Because again, if you go back and watch my old videos, I did it for 2 straight years. So I'm hoping I could still report this stuff to you. But that is the updates I got for you when it comes to preseason and when it comes to training camp. Let me know. Comment below. I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what you guys think about, not tweeting. We're still going to have reporters there, but they can't live tweet and all that stuff. And I want to know what you guys think about preseason, having no preseason. I know some of you guys think that it's not needed. It's kind of, a waste of time preseason. I don't think it's a waste of time. I think it really does help get the continuity and get to play against not your team, because your team will start picking up tendencies. You're playing them, practicing against them every day for a month. You want to go against someone new. You want to see how you could do against someone new, and especially the coaches, the scouts, and all these guys want to see what you can do against someone new. And then also those fringe guys, the guys that kind of want to make the roster, kind of want to make the team, they really depend on these preseason games to show, hey, I can do it. Look, you give me the chance and I can thrive. Victor Cruz had a very, very good preseason game and made the New York Giants because of that. There's a lot of undrafted guys that had really good preseasons and made teams because of that. Preston Williams is one of them. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Like I said, be sure to comment below. I'm going to get to one of you guys' comments of the day. This comment comes from Chandler B. And he asks me, comment of the day. If Howard gets injured / has a major setback, do you think the team would be interested in a trade even with his bloated contract? This is something that I read this comment and I said, you know what? It's a good comment. Let's talk about it, because it's something that we all are thinking about. I love Xavien Howard. That Patriots game where he was just going off on Tom Brady, catching up to Cooks and picking him off and all that stuff. Loved him at that moment. I was like, this guy's going to be dynamic. Had 7 interceptions in a limited season because he got injured again. You can't not like Xavien Howard. But you can't look past his glaring problem. It's the same thing with Tua Tagovailoa. I love Tua. I did a whole film breakdown talking about how people have these preconceived notions of him, but it's not necessarily true. But you can't look past his glaring problem of his injury, his hip injury. Will he bounce back? All that stuff. I think he will. But the same thing with Xavien Howard, and it was the same thing with Devontae Parker. Devontae Parker had constant nagging injuries. He didn't miss a lot of games. If you go back and look at how many games he's actually missed in his career with the Miami Dolphins, it wasn't much compared to how many he's played. But he would have these nagging injuries that would hinder his play on the field. He's got his head straight. He got himself physically straight, and he had 1,000-yard, ranked 4th in the NFL in touchdowns. Like, he had a fantastic season. Hopefully he can build off of that. Same goes for Xavien Howard. Xavien Howard, when the man is on the field, he's dynamic. And, of course, I say that, and I get people say, well, what about those Cowboys game? Yes, you're going to have a bad game. Look at all the greats. You're going to have a bad game, and I'm not comparing them to the greats. Not yet. But you're going to have a bad game. It happens. Hopefully it doesn't happen in the playoffs. Hopefully you can get your head straight and you can play consistent and play well in the playoffs. But you can't look at Xavien Howard and not see how dynamic, how disruptive, how crazy he is when he's on the field. Look at the Steelers game, right? He was playing injured in that Steelers game. He came out at the half. He was lighting it up. He was completely owning the wide receivers he was covering. So, I went on a ramble a little bit, but essentially the question is, if Howard gets injured again or has a major setback, do I think that the team will be interested in trading him, or would it be hard because of his bloated contract? Well, I hope and I think that he's going to have a bounce-back season, and we're not going to have to worry about this. But to answer the hypothetical question, it's going to be hard. I will say that. It will be very hard for the Dolphins to move him with the contract he has. And if he has another injury or setback, it'll be very hard to move him because you're going to be taking on a big fat contract and you're going to be taking on a player who hasn't been able to stay healthy throughout his whole NFL career. It's the same thing like Dalvin Cook, right? When Dalvin Cook is on the field, when Dalvin Cook is doing his thing like a chicken wing, he's super dynamic, he's super special, but the man can't stay healthy. He hasn't played a full season, and now he's asking for top running back money. He's asking for Christian McCaffrey plus money. That's the reason why no one's banging on the door to get Dalvin Cook, and that's the reason why the Minnesota Vikings are sitting back like, dude, just show us you can stay healthy, and then we'll either give you the contract extension you want or we'll move you. So, again, it's the same thing with Xavien Howard. Super dynamic. The man's on the field. He's shutting people down. He's got the speed to catch up. He'll let you go about 5 yards back, and you'll wave your hand as a wide receiver. Oh, I got this cushion. I got this 5-yard cushion. Yo, man, I'm open. And then they'll throw the ball to you, and then, bam! Xavien Howard has that closing speed, catches up, interception. I've seen him do it against the Patriots. I've seen him do it against the Colts. I've seen him do it multiple times. And I ain't talking about the Colts with Brian Hoyer. I've seen him do it with the Colts with Andrew Luck. I've seen him do it to Tom Brady. I've seen him trick these people and thinking that their wide receiver's open, and he just comes out of nowhere and picks it off. He did it against T.Y. Hilton, against the Colts, with Adam Gase as our head coach. Go back and watch that in 2018. Watch him close on T.Y. Hilton, who's a fast receiver, and pick play off. It was fantastic. So, again, on the field, super dynamic. He just needs to get on the field, and he needs to stay on the field. But I honestly think he's going to get his head straight. I think he's going to, he had the scope on the knee, so there's no major damage to his knee or the ligaments or anything. It was just precautionary. He's fine. He's hopefully at this time he's getting himself rehabbed. He's getting himself healthy. So hope that answers your question. I went real in depth with that one, Chandler, but I like the comment. I like the question, and I'm a big Xavien Howard fan, but not to. And you guys know me as someone who's going to shoot it straight, right? I will have favorites, like you can tell. I do have certain Dolphins that are my favorites, but I'm going to be honest with you. They didn't draft Noah Igbenogany, and they didn't bring in Byron Jones. To not think that, hey, if he fails again and if Xavien Howard doesn't stay healthy, we're shipping his ass out. They didn't do that. They didn't bring in these, insurance policies to not put all their chips in one player. So that's the other side you got to look at. They drafted a corner in the 30th pick in the first round, and they brought in a high-priced corner. So if Xavien Howard can't stay healthy, I don't want it to happen, but you never know. But again, thank you for the comment. I hope I answered your question. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That is the video. Like usual, be sure to follow me on Twitter. I tweet out a ton of things. I was tweeting out all this breaking news. I was having a great conversation with some of you guys on Twitter. So be sure to follow me on Twitter. Check out the Bit Boys, my other site, gaming site. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. But other than that, you know the gist already. You know to hit that thumbs up if you like the video. You know to hit the subscribe button if you want to hang out and see more of my videos, more of my Dolphin content. I got a full list of videos. To check out DolphinsTalk.com. Great Dolphin site. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Like I said, I got a bunch of videos planned. I was thinking of breaking down my top 10 favorite games, my top 10 Miami Dolphin favorite games. So be sure to comment below. I'm going to put a poll out also to see if you guys want me to do that. I've already written down a good 7 of them. And this is my favorite Dolphin games. So let me know if you're interested in that. Like I said, I have some other videos got planned. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. But like usual, stay classy. Fins up.